All right, y'all, so I had a couple people reach out to me the other day after I posted on social media that I was out in the field shooting houses, and they, one, didn't realize that I shot houses, but two, asked me to share a little bit about how I do what I do. So we're, as a content team, going to put together a couple of videos in this series on how to shoot houses ourselves. Now, a couple little background stories on me. When I first graduated college and went straight into real estate, my mom gifted me for my graduation gift a new DSLR camera, right? And this is like circa 2006. So these things weren't that impressive back then. But what it did is it allowed me to figure out a way to cut my teeth into real estate. Back then, you could fill out your MLS sheet and check a box, and somebody from your local multiple listing service would drive by the house and take a photo. And that's what a lot of people used. But the problem was it was from inside the car, and you could see the rearview mirror, and there's probably a trash can in the way. So as I got going in real estate, so did other platforms like Zillow and Realtor.com, and so photos became more and more important. And I was looking for a differentiator being younger in the business. So I said, hey, what if I started taking our own photos? And I didn't just take them, but I learned. And one of the things I would encourage you to do if you decide to go down this path is to find a photography mentor. That's probably a little strong of a word, but what I ended up doing was hiring a wedding photographer to coach me once a week for a couple of months on what I should do when taking house photos. Because we all see those beautiful Architectural Digest magazines that everything is perfect and the color, the blue is super blue and the greens are super green, and it was just magnificent. And that's what I wanted to create. So first, I had to get my expectations in line. After meeting with this guy a couple times, he liked to remind me that there's probably 10 people shooting that one photo for 10 hours and then 10 people editing it for 10 hours. So our photos aren't gonna be perfect. And so I think that's why a lot of people don't shoot their own listings. Two, shooting photos can be really expensive. We just hired a photographer for one of our properties up in the mountains, and it was almost $700. Guys, that's not astronomical. That's okay. That's the going rate. I get that. But you can shoot your own photos and save so much more money. And who's better to capture the essence of a home than the person that actually has to market it and come through with it? So this video is going to be a little bit more advanced than just a basic video. It's going to be kind of, if you already know how to operate a camera a little bit, you're going to get some tips and tricks from this. But one of our next videos, I'm actually going to go on site to one of our listings and show you how I physically shoot photos and what I do. But to get started, if you're looking to take your own photos, here's what I recommend. A couple of things. One, obviously you need to get yourself a good camera. Kind of like cars, the more you spend, the nicer it's going to be. Now, I'm a Nikon guy. If you like Canon and Sony, whatever. But I'm just kidding. I have Sonys too. Those are great for video, but I don't necessarily recommend those for house photos. I love Nikons, and this is what I kind of grown up on. This is a Z6, right? Z6? Yeah, something like that. What is this one? This isn't, no, yeah, Z6, I was right. It's mirrorless. So the difference with this one is you're not gonna get a lot of fluttering when the mirror goes up and down to capture photos. So those of y'all that shoot photos a lot, you'll know what I'm talking about. The other thing I do is obviously a good flash, that's great. And this great product is made by Gary Fong. It's called a Cloud. It shoots straight up and distributes light back down. So no, we're not doing this scare tactic where we have this huge flash of light that's lighting up a room. One of the things I really want to encourage y'all to focus on is the lighting. Now, when I go to shoot a house, I don't bring external lighting like I've got now. I try and capture the house with the essence of the house. But with that being said, you have to pay attention to lighting. So if it's a dark and dreary day, kind of like it is outside right now, it's a perfect day for me to shoot indoor photos. Because that way I don't have this huge blowout of light. It looks like Jesus is coming through the window. It's a nice, consistent, soft light. And then the other part you have to remember is the flash is not the source of the light, it's to accentuate the light. It should be a little pop just to fill some space, but it shouldn't look like you're catching a deer in headlights. Like that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. Hell, I know some great photographers that don't do lighting at all, and that's dumbfounds me. So I have to do a little bit of this, but I highly recommend this Gary Fong light, Cloud light, excuse me. It's like 40 bucks and it just Velcros on the top. The other reason I like this Z6, and I've got several cameras now, is this thing will do HDR inside of it. So what do I mean by HDR? So this is how you get those photos to look really, really good. So when I take photos of a house, one of the things I recommend, if you're not used to it, using a monopod. So all of our photographers on staff use this because it's real hard when you're starting out to get the level correct, to get it not to shake, because what we do is we do HDR bracketing. So in essence, we take a photo like we want to, like we're like, hey, that photo looks great. And then we dial it up 2 notches and dial it down 2 notches. It's called bracketing. And most cameras in modern day have that system already built in. And then we have to take those 3 photos, put them into a program called Photo Matrix. That's what we use. I'm sure Adobe has something. And it meshes them all together. So now if there's a really dark corner of a room, the really bright photo that we took of the three will fill that space. That's how you can see through windows in a house, when you can see outside and see the green grass and the blue skies. So it's called bracketing. This camera right here does it all for you in one. So no longer do I have to go pop, 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 download, mesh, and put back together. It does all of that internally, but you gotta keep it real still. So I highly recommend using a monopod or a tripod. And like I said, the quality of camera really matters. Also, don't forget the lens. Let's be honest, the lens is more important than the camera. You can get some really cheap lenses and that's okay, but it's gonna make your photos look okay. This one's a great camera. This one's a great Nikon body. It goes with it, and it's a 30 to 14 millimeter, right? So this one will get super wide. But I wanna caution you, do not, in my opinion, use a fisheye. You've all seen them. The fisheye is looking like you're in an aquarium, and it's got this wraparound effect. Not what I would recommend, because you don't want those edges coming in on you. I have a fisheye. I don't typically like to use it at all, if ever. So going back to it, so now that I've got my gear set up and what I want, so when I go into a house, this is what I recommend. It's all about the angles. So I start out in every single room in the corner, back down, I squat down, and I put my shoulders against the wall, and I use this with a monopod to capture the angles. With a wide angle lens, if you're standing up and looking down or looking up, it's going to distort your view, and it's gonna make the thing look weird. So you gotta get in the corner, and what I wanna do is put the right side of the frame on the corner of the wall. So say I'm in a foyer, right? I'm in the left corner. I wanna put the right frame on this corner, and I wanna put my left frame on this corner, and just go corner to corner. Sometimes when agents or photographers do middle of the room to middle of the room, it looks weird and distorts it because the wide angle lens makes it look super long. But with that said, a wide angle lens is really good because it can make the smallest rooms look large, and if done right, you can make the larger rooms look cozy, and that's what we're going for. I do every single corner of every single room. And when I say I squat down, the reason I squat down is I was taught to be at 1/3 of the height of the room. Because when you're doing that, yeah, that sounds short, but when you do that, it almost seems like it's eye level for the person viewing it. And we know what we're selling. Yes, we're selling houses, but honestly, we're selling the photos. If our photos suck, if it's raining outside, the trash can's in the way, the toilet seat's up, it's dark, whatever your excuse is, people are probably not gonna come to your listing. Like, that's automatically gonna cut down on that. So shooting photos is the ultimate way to make sure that people are coming into your home. After I've shot the house, right, I like to go outside. When I go outside, I try and keep my concrete to a minimum, meaning I don't want to stand on the driveway and shoot up, so the only thing the person watching is the actual concrete. I want to go more grass, and I only want to narrow in on the house. I'm not trying to pick up the neighbor's problems. I only want to focus on that, and I work my way around the house. Typically, I'm going to shoot on average 150 photos of a house, but again, we're merging those together, so I'll come out with a good 50 photos. The reason I shoot every single corner is we allow our clients to see the photos before we go live. And if they don't like an angle or a corner, I have another 3 corners of that bedroom or that living room that they could go for. Another thing I want to recommend to you is having some help if you need it. Some of these houses can be really hard. High vaulted ceilings, open concepts where the whole house is just wide open. It's hard to get that lighting appropriately. One way of doing it is picking up another flash that can relay off of this one that you can put in other spots, but that's for another time. Some other stuff I recommend that you do for houses that will really make a big impact and also will really go a long way. So is editing. We use Lightroom by Adobe. I don't go in and edit stuff out. I think it's kind of unethical for anybody to go in and take out water towers or make the grass green when it's really brown. I want to capture the house in the way that the buyer is going to see it when they come out there, so they're not confused or disappointed when they get there. So I like Lightroom because you can very quickly make it a little bit brighter if you need to, and you can really manipulate the photo to make it more of a universal look. After that, we let our clients see it like I talked about. But one other thing I want to recommend that you do is invest in another camera. Matterporting is something that we do on all of our listings. We do it so much that we actually don't do open houses. Because if we Matterport a property, this house can be an open house 24/7. And don't even get me started on open houses. I think they're unsafe. I don't think they're worth it. And I've done a lot of them. But this camera right here is not done by Matterport. It's called Insta360. And it legitimately is a 360 camera that you put on a tripod. and it looks like Google Street View. So this will capture your Matterports quickly and easily, and actually a lot faster. We have an actual Matterport camera, and this thing will take a picture, if you will, about a third of the time the Matterport camera will. And it's fast and it's quick and it's easy. So now not only are you capturing the house, you're getting wide angles, you're getting beautiful shots, but also now you're doing a virtual walkthrough, so you have an open house 24/7. And you want to kick it up one last notch, there is a handheld tripod, if you will, that you can walk through the house with this 360 camera. And as you go through the house, you can talk about all the features. And the cool part is when you upload this to YouTube, people can grab the screen and look in a 360 view as you're walking. So they wanted to, they could see your face the whole time, or they could look out at what you're talking about. So now you can give a personalized tour of every single listing that you have, about the features you love, about the things that you like, and the reasons that people should buy it. So you got still photos, you got interactive 3D tours, and you've got your personality on camera that you can send to potential buyers or use in social media so you can pick up more people. So I'm a huge advocate of shooting your own photos. I think it's a good way that if you have some photography experience to really hone in and bring that added value your clients are looking for. What I have found is most professional photographers, they show up when they're scheduled to show up because they have a schedule and they're shooting what is there. But if I show up and the house is super dark in the morning because of the way the sun is, I get to come back in a couple hours when the sun's just right. And that has really added the value, and I believe really helped us sell more houses, because at the end of the day, our photos look good, and when our photos look good, buyers come through the door. If you have any questions, or if you want to get into debate of Canon versus Sony versus Nikon, whatever it might be, shoot those in the DMs below. Also, if you have any pointers that I didn't go over, I'd love to always learn and know more. So tell me what you're doing. And at the end of the day, keep watching these videos. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get this out to all realtors all across the country, because I think together, if we grow together and we get better together, our industry will keep thriving. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, thanks for watching.